Have you ever played a game moment so perfectly written that 20 years later, people are still fighting about it on Reddit? Yeah, that's the Culling of Stratholme.
This entire city must be purged. How can you even consider that? There's got to be some other way.
Damn it, Uther. As your future king, I order you to purge this city.
You are not my king yet, boy. Nor would I obey that command even if you were.
Then I must consider this an act of treason.
Treason? You lost your mind, Arthas.
It's the single moment Blizzard struck storytelling gold. And then, like Arthas himself, immediately spent the next decade trying to purge it. So picture this. You're Arthas Menethil, Crown Prince of Lordaeron, the golden boy of the light, a paladin so pure he probably blesses his own reflection every morning. You've been trained by Uther the Lightbringer, literally the man who invented righteousness. And you're in love with Jaina Proudmoore, a very beautiful mage. Life is good until the plague hits. It's a magical zombie weed. People eat it, die, and then get back up to file a complaint by biting your face off. And Arthas, being the kind of overachiever who doesn't really take sick days, decides to fix it himself. Which, you know, never goes wrong in Warcraft. The investigation begins. Arthas finds out the plague's being spread by these grain shipments from Andorhal. And it's all the work of a man named Kelduzad, a necromancer, and the only guy who looked at undeath and said, yeah, this seems scalable. But the real thing comes when he finds out that the city of Stratholme has already been infected. And the fun begins. They're not zombies yet, they're still alive, they just will be undead in a matter of hours. Arthas realizes there's no time, and no cure, and there's a city full of innocent people about to turn into a raid boss. And he makes a decision that splits the entire fandom to this day. He's going to kill them first. And this is where it gets juicy, because right there, standing next to him, are his two moral angels on his shoulder. Uther, the ultimate paladin dad, says, "This is madness, Arthas." And Jaina, the emotional voice of reason, says, "There must be another way." And Arthas, bless his doomed little heart, goes, "Damn it, Uther, as your future king, I order you to purge this city." And Uther, in true boomer energy, replies, "You are not my king yet, boy." That's the precise moment when Arthas stops being a paladin and really starts being the guy with a hammer who thinks he's right. So you see Uther leave, Jaina vanish, and you enter. Like, this isn't cartoon villainy. It's kind of worse. This is where Blizzard nailed the moral grey thing before they forgot what that meant. Because Arthas isn't really wrong. He's doing what he thinks is necessary, but he's also killing people who haven't done anything yet. As I said in my last Arthas video, it's betrayal dressed as mercy. Because he's a paladin, he shouldn't be killing innocent people, and the tragedy really starts. See, this is what I love about the writing here, and what I always love to say, the George R. Martin quote, "the heart in conflict with itself." Arthas is terrified of losing his people, terrified of failing his kingdom. If he doesn't act now, he'll be the reason everything burns. That's Arthas. You can argue this is the moment he becomes a human, not just a character in a video game. He kind of becomes something else entirely. Because once you justify one atrocity in the name of the greater good, you've already written the ending. You just don't really know it yet. After the culling, Arthas feels empty. He's convinced he saved the world, but everyone he trusted has abandoned him. And what's worse, the city burns, and the scourge keeps spreading anyway. Mal'Ganis escaped him. So now he's desperate, and desperate people do stupid things, which is why, when he sees Frostmourne, he didn't really hesitate. So that's really the thing. The Culling of Stratholme is the moment that defines Arthas forever. It's the moment Arthas realizes that ends justify means. Now here's the part that always messes with me. What if they didn't leave? Like, seriously, what if Uther and Jaina just stayed? I think about that a lot, because Arthas made the call, but he made it alone. Imagine if Uther has said, "Alright, if you're doing this, you're not doing it by yourself." If he'd just stayed, if Jaina had stepped forward instead of walking away, if someone, anyone, had looked at him in the eyes and said, "You don't have to do this alone." Think about it. Maybe the city still burns, maybe people still die, but maybe how different that moment feels if the person holding the hammer still has someone standing next to him. I've always felt like that's what really broke Arthas. Realizing that when it all went to hell, nobody really stayed. Uther walks off like, "No, not my problem. I'm too righteous for this. I'm a paladin, I can't kill innocent people." Jaina cries a bit, then teleports out like it's a bad group finder bug. And suddenly Arthas is just standing there, alone, with a decision so heavy it could break a soul. And when you carry something like that alone, it does break you. That's what makes the fall to Frostmourne make sense. It wasn't really about the sword or Ner'zhul's whispers. Because really, when the only voice left is your own, eventually you'll listen to any voice that answers back. Do I blame Uther or Jaina? Not really. They did what they thought was right, but sometimes doing the right thing means leaving someone to fall. And I think Stratholme had two tragedies that day. The people Arthas killed, and the people who walked away. And honestly, if that doesn't mess with you, it should. Arthas lost his teachers that day, his friends, and really his emotional anchors. This is where I have to give Blizzard credit. You, the player, do the culling. You click the citizens, you hear them scream, you follow the order, and you become complicit as a player. By the end of the mission, you understand Arthas better than any cutscene ever could. It's the rare moment where a game makes you feel the weight of the story, not really just watch it. That's why it's timeless. Was Arthas right? This is where the internet loses its collective mind. Some say yes, he did what had to be done. Others say no, he crossed the moral line. And honestly, I think they're both right, because that's the beauty of it. I don't think there's a logic in this decision. He killed the city to save his kingdom, and kind of lost both. That's the irony, and the tragedy, and that's Warcraft. And every time I see Blizzard try to recreate this energy, I can't help but laugh a little. Because back then they didn't really tell you a character was complex. They showed you. There wasn't really light versus void, a jailer that was behind it all nonsense. Just one man, one impossible choice, and the sound of a hammer echoing down an empty street. This was Blizzard before, when the story trusted you to think. And maybe that's why we still talk about it. Every time I think about this, I realize something uncomfortable. Arthas wasn't really a monster here. He was kind of like a mirror inside me. He's really what happens when conviction eats empathy, when doing good becomes more important than being good. And that's really scary. He wasn't really evil, because let's be honest, most of us would have made the same call. We want to think we'd be noble like Jaina or merciful like Uther, but when the stakes are your people, your city, and really your home, you'd pick the hammer too. That's why it works, and that's why it hurts. Arthas isn't a villain you kind of hate. Arthas is a villain you can understand, and that's what makes him a believable character, and that's timeless storytelling. This single moment did more for Warcraft than entire expansions have since. Every choice after this one, burning ships, taking Frostmourne, becoming the Lich King, is just an echo of Stratholme. And I think that's why we can't stop debating it, because deep down we all want to believe we do the right thing. But we also know that right can get blurry when people start dying. He was human, and that's what makes this story immortal. It's the moment Warcraft stopped being just fantasy. And for all the cosmic nonsense and retcons Blizzard's piled up since, they've never topped that. Anyway, I love Stratholme. It's one of my favorite moments in gaming. And hey, if you like this video, hit subscribe. It helps the algorithm keep me from being purged by Arthas.